My dear elegant ladies, welcome back to my channel. I have a highly requested video for you today. What to wear when you're traveling, what to wear in an airport. If you are new to my channel, my name is Anna and I run an online finishing school called School of Affluence. I teach women high society skills, elegance, and how to feel at home in elite social settings. Now, if you want to have this transformation and you want to know how to achieve a luxurious lifestyle, visit schoolofaffluence.com. Okay, ladies, let's start with a small introduction where I am going to quickly say things that I would never wear to an airport. The first and foremost, number one thing I would never wear to an airport, and that is my gym clothes. No yoga pants, no sporty stuff, nothing that I usually would wear in a gym. With my sense of logic, these type of garments do not belong in an aircraft or an airport. For instance, there are certain clothes that are meant for certain activities. When I go horseback riding, I wear certain clothes. When I go and play tennis or I play golf, I wear different types of clothing. So why are then active wear? Why are gym clothes all of a sudden the appropriate wear to wear outside of the gym? Does not make any sense to me. Now, other things that I would personally not wear when I go traveling is, for instance, very tight clothing, like tight jeans, anything that's uncomfortable to sit down in. I would also not wear heels, platforms. I would not wear dresses or skirts or even shorts, anything that can make you feel cold. And I would also think a little bit about what not to wear on my feet when I'm traveling. Uggs, for instance, unless you are arriving to a snowy country, a cold country, maybe arriving to the mountains, then okay, maybe that's okay. But if you're just traveling with Uggs because they're comfortable, I don't know, they just look a little bit out of place. Same goes with flip-flops. Flip-flops, I see a lot in airplanes and airports. Flip-flops for me belong around the pool, nowhere else, and especially not in an aircraft. But let's go back to airport outfits. What would I personally wear? What is appropriate to wear? First of all, we need to have one thing clear. We do not want to underdress for the airport and we do not want to overdress for the airport. I think overdressing, appearing in heels and dresses and very delicate clothing is definitely not appropriate because in airports, in airplanes, it's easy to spill, get dirty. For that reason, you really should just have something that is somewhere in the middle. Why you shouldn't go too casual is because it's a matter of respect for yourself and it's also a matter of respect for other people. Although airports and airplanes are not formal settings, but you are surrounded by a lot of people. So it's important to take that into account. I wonder, don't you want to look your best, especially when you are seeing all these people and you're sitting next to all these people? So ladies, I'm going to tell you what I personally would like to wear in an airport. I will also tell you what bag I think is best to wear and what shoes to wear. I always travel with trousers and a top. A top can be long sleeve, short sleeve. A few times I've traveled with a dress. For me personally, it was not the most comfortable piece of garment to wear. Trousers. Let's start with that because trousers are really important. My favorite option, which I actually do wear quite often myself to long haul flights, I personally love palazzo trousers and any wide trousers. They are comfortable, and especially if you get in a more knitted material, maybe some satin variation, there can be some high quality polyester that is breathable and is not like the really cheap polyester that we don't like. But I guess the most important is that the trousers, they sit nicely around your stomach and hip area because that's kind of where it becomes bothersome when you're sitting down and maybe in the groin as well. So you really have to make sure everything is, relaxed, not too tight. You have some breathing space and so on. And usually these type of trousers, they look more flowy, they look more elegant, they can be a little bit more casual chic, as I like to call it. If you are traveling short haul, for instance, then you can wear trousers that are more like capri trousers, maybe some comfortable slacks, maybe some culottes. If you want to wear jeans, then perhaps a pair of stretch jeans. I would really focus on something that is comfortable. I feel trousers just makes you look a little bit more neat, a little bit more formal. So like that, you don't look very dressed down and you can just mix and match. Okay, let's talk about what we're going to wear with our trousers. For instance, a top like this is something I would definitely wear in an airplane. I like to wear something that is comfortable, something that is soft, something that is usually a long sleeve, or if I am wearing short sleeve is not a t-shirt, by the way. T-shirts is like this. Short sleeve is like this. Now, short sleeve with a cardigan, for instance, so that you can layer, because in an aircraft, it really does oftentimes get cold. What I personally wear in an airplane is something simple. I don't want to go all fancy. I don't want to go fashionable. Air travel is already a stressful moment, at least for me, and I just want to keep things as simple, as easygoing as possible. So I really think about these things, that I have to find clothing for airports that are somewhere in the middle. Not too fancy, but not too shabby, too relaxed. We want to have that very casual but smart casual middle. Now, another thing, I don't know if you have the same issue, but I always get very bloated after air travel. I've actually read about this, that it's very common. Whenever I travel, I always make sure to not to wear any tops that are too tight when I start feeling a little bit bloated, and then all of this shows. It doesn't make me feel good about myself, and it doesn't give me a good look. Another thing, I also like, especially if I'm traveling long haul. I don't know how you feel about this, ladies. I guess it can be a bit different depending on your bust size, but me, as I have a smaller bust, I personally don't like to wear a bra with straps when I'm traveling long haul, because in a long haul flight, I want to have like my shoulders relaxed. So I always wear a strapless bra underneath whatever top it is that I'm wearing. So I always make sure that the top that I'm wearing can cater for such bra, because for me, it's just important to have this kind of flexibility here, so I don't feel like I'm too strapped in everything that I'm wearing. Like, I want to feel somehow liberated. I think the trickiest part is when you're traveling from a cold country to a hot country, or vice versa, because you're really going from two types of climates, and it can be sometimes tricky to dress for it. Let's say I'm traveling from a cold country, I'm arriving in a warm country. Definitely I would wear the clothes that I'm going to feel most comfortable on upon arrival. I wouldn't do the same though if I'm traveling from a hot country to a cold country. Then I would actually put on my clothes that cater for colder climates later throughout the flight, but not initially, because you don't want to go through an airport in, I don't know, in some exotic country and really sweating in your jackets. But really, layering solves everything. So the best way of layering for me personally is to have like spaghetti straps. Maybe you have a cami top, and then you have a cardigan, not too thick, thin, and then maybe you have an additional layer, maybe another sweater for the really cold part of the flight, or maybe you have a light jacket. So when it comes to outerwear, I mean, if you are traveling within hot countries, then this won't be applicable to you. But if you are traveling within cold countries, or you're arriving or departing from a cold country, then of course you might be wearing a jacket or a coat. I would personally not wear the most fancy version of coat, for instance, because really in the airplane anything can happen. For that reason, you have to have a jacket or a coat. You're just not too concerned about if something would happen to it, but you still don't want to wear the ugliest thing that you own, because that's the only thing you don't care about. You have to find some form of balance there. So what about shoes? Footwear. Flats is the only way to go, and you can of course have different variations to flats. So I do recommend wearing sneakers, but stylish sneakers. We don't want to wear our runner shoes, we don't want to wear our old Nikes. We want to wear our good looking, nice pair of sneakers. Maybe you have a nice pair of leather sneakers. I love my Louis Vuitton leather sneakers. They are my favorite sneakers. You can also wear ballerina shoes if they're comfortable. An alternative though would be to wear loafers. Maybe a nice pair of Gucci loafers, perfect for travel, perfect for walking. Something that is kind of comfortable, but still, you know, formal enough not to be too casual. I also recommend that you wear shoes that are easy to take off and easy to put on. I do recommend that you wear something that is comfortable, because traveling requires a lot of walking, especially between terminals. And also don't forget shoes that are not too fragile. You just never know. Now, if you want to wear boots, maybe you are in a cold country, then of course wear them. Just make sure that they're easy to take on and take off. Now, lastly, ladies, the bag. Now, what bag are we going to wear? And do we have to wear a designer bag when we travel with airplanes? It's up to you. You can if you want. If you want to always dress to impress, then you definitely could wear something that is a little bit more fancy. But if you are somebody that don't bother and don't care, then you don't have to. It's just your personal choice. So depending what your needs are, you will have a bag accordingly. For instance, some people, they don't really have a lot of hand luggage. They put everything in their check-in luggage. Then maybe you don't need to have a big bag. In that case, I would recommend you to wear maybe a crossover bag or maybe a bag with shoulder straps, because you want to have your hands free. Majority of us, however, and that is me included, we like to have things with us inside the plane. That means maybe you need space for your laptop, your books, your water bottle, your iPad, your mobiles, whatever it is. You need to have a little bit more space for all of those things that you just cannot put in your check-in luggage. So a bigger bag is required, and for that reason we need a tote bag. You don't have to have a tote, but you can have something that is a bit bigger with easy access, because we do need some form of easy access since we have to take in and out our passports and boarding passes. You want to have some space to work with, but the bag cannot be too big. You want to be able to fit it in the seat in front of you. But at the same time, if you are traveling with a carry-on as well, so a rolling bag, you want to be able to put your handbag comfortably on the rolling bag. You won't need to have to carry your bag on your shoulder or however it is that you have to carry. You can just put them two together and problem solved. Now, last thing that I really want you to think about. My dear online friend, Erika's Girly World, she mentioned this in a video when she was talking about her Hermes Birkin bag, saying that it was too heavy for her to take with her in airplanes. And that's something that is very important to really think about. The fact that your traveling bag, the handbag that you have as a carry-on and so on, that is not too heavy without items inside, because it's just going to be a burden when you're traveling around, having a very heavy bag plus stuffing it with all kinds of things, and you end up carrying like 10 kilos. So ladies, I want to hear from you in the comment section below. What are you wearing for air travel? What are your travel hacks? Share us your best travel tips, because I'm really curious. I'm going actually to have a look myself in the comments. Maybe there are some new little tips and tricks that even I should know about. Now, if you haven't watched my vlog when I went traveling with British Airways, which has the worst business class ever, watch that vlog and see how it was when I traveled to a warm country. Now, ladies, safe travels to all of you, and I will see you in the next video.